Greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads, and welcome back to most likely the conclusion of our one-shot for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. As you would know, if you've been tuning in, we have been recording this and then recording it all in one day, but breaking it apart so that you can easily consume it as you desire. So now, when last we left our heroes, they had gotten pretty close to the nest of, or what they seem to think is the nest of this creature, whatever this beast of the new moon is, and it is set up there and getting all of its stuff going. But before we jump into that, let's do announcements or anything that needs taken care of, because we are going right into combat from where we left off. So, as far as announcements for the Inn of Planar Crossroads, this is coming out in November, Lord willing. So that means we're going to be having most things basically done with collaborations with Bomb Squad, and I don't have prescience, as was alluded to by Moustache last time. Neither one of us possess prescience specifically that we can control, I guess. But we will be hopefully be doing things with the Inn of Planar Crossroads. I do plan to pick a next goal for us to put into the announcement that comes out in December/January, the New Year's announcement. So we always do one of those, and that's where you'll be able to find it next. That's all I have for right now. So, Dan, you got anything else to go along?
Just the usual. You can find us on Avenue Studios, YouTube, podcasts, and Rumble, and we do live streaming Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, in addition to our other content. Our long-term live streaming game is Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Outlaws of Elkinstar. By the time this comes up, there will be a show where we live streamed with Adam running a Fallout game in Open Legend, hopefully with Kristen and Great Moustache and some other friends. And I am looking forward to seeing what happens. So that's us.
All right. Okie dokie. And then Moustache is going to be starting a Kickstarter thing, Lord willing, close to the end of the year.
Yeah, and I think the title of this episode is The Death of Killian. Is that what?
Perhaps.
He also turns to dust and you never find the body.
We get this whole thing. Pippa's like, no! Gets all grim, gets a scar across her eye, starts carrying around a big, huge sword. You know?
Yeah.
All right. Well then, if everybody's got done, we've got Dan from Avenue Studios, the Great Moustache, and we've got Jeppe here, who won our 1,000 subs placement in the one shot. Let's get to the conclusion of a hunt by the new moon. And we're starting off.
Clarification: how do you work? How do you work your legend points? Do you do it where it adds an extra die, or just advantage +1?
I allow the roller to pick.
Ooh.
So, you guys can choose how you would like to do that. I have not hammered out a concrete handling of them, but I am willing to do either one, especially since this is going to be multi-phase, most likely. So, let's get into the creature. Assuming that you guys don't actually just one round everything. That's true. So you guys rolled. The creature does not get a surprise round. Everybody is knowing that everybody's knowing that everybody else is looking for each other. So there's no surprise round. The creature, or a creature, does seem to burst out. this creature does not look like the one you saw in the moon. It's got this big gut and these small wings for its size. It's a large creature. It looks fiendish. It's got tusks protruding from a mouth that is with the snout of a pig and intelligent, bright eyes. And it is looking at you, and you hear in your minds, "Hunting they will go." And the battle basically just picks up from there. There's no stealth with this one. And so you may begin with, let me see, Estal actually begins us with a 33.
Right, so how far is it from us?
It seemed to come right up to y'all. It is within, well, let me see. It is within 15 feet of y'all.
Then I'll move in to intercept it and try to stab it with the spear.
Okay.
Great. That's 17.
17? Unfortunately not. So, let me see. We're working with... My minimum damage is 1. So we're working with minimum damage of 1. So, you do get minimum damage in.
Right.
But the beast's hide seems to be... You would expect this type of creature's hide to be very thick, but instead it's almost papery, and your spear cuts into it, and you catch something, but it doesn't feel correct the way that the blade sinks in and comes out of the spear, with the spear. It's odd, not gelatinous, but like wind is pushing against something. Almost like that. All right. So.
That's my turn.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have Killian.
All right. Pippa is going to use her action to bolster Killian in his alteration. And seeing that the first strike from Estal seems to be hitting something funky, I'm going to try and attempt to bolster my comrades. Pulling out my spellbook and seeing if I can get that going. Ooh, yes, I think we do. Oh yes, 9, 15, 25. So I am bolstering both Estal and Lizbith at advantage 2, at power level 6.
Okay. All right.
And then, if possible, could I possibly use my minor action to see if the way Estal's spear was hitting, is that something that indicates a resistance to piercing type weapons or precise damage, something like that?
You can make a roll for that, yes.
Right. I'd like to compare it using my learning, if I've come across a creature with this design and shape, since it's so different from what we were expecting. Or would you like something else?
Well, were you looking for whether it had resistance to piercing or the other?
No, that it had resistance to his attack specifically, but because it's so different from what we were expecting, if I've come across that and know, this might have resistance to precise damage.
So the creature you're looking for before you. Did you get that result?
Yes.
What was the result again? I missed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was asking if learning's okay. If that's all right.
Yes, learning's okay.
Okay. Sorry. Ooh, natural 20.
Is that the same 20?
24. Yes. I just, I keep powering through it. So that's 40.
40?
Now you can set it aside because it's not going to get that again.
Yeah, it's all done.
So you got 40, like 40?
40. Yeah, I rolled a 16 after the natural 20.
Okay.
2d6.
So coming to mind, you actually know what this thing is, or you know what the shape of this thing is. This body seems to have a gray paper type of skin to it, and it reminds you of the way that the skin looked on those people that you saw in the other place. And this one is not what it's supposed to be. This is something you've heard called a Nalfeshi, but it looks like one, but it doesn't seem to be one in truth. Like something's wearing the skin of it. And that starts to make you think that something's wearing the skin of it. And that's what you're suspecting there. Most likely based upon what you have seen. The beast's influence of some kind. Whether it's the beast itself or not, you can't really tell right away. But this thing is supposed to be a very strong fiend type of demon thing that you've read about in books.
Okay. So I'll shout out, to wrap my turn, I'll shout out that it's some kind of mockery of a Feshi or a rotting one, if you've ever fought it before. Just in case they've run across it too and can help. Cool.
By extension, you would know it does not have piercing resistance.
Okay. Keep hitting it.
Just do better.
All right.
Cool.
So that's Killian. Blixen.
Yeah, as I'm holding the black lightning elemental bow, the lightning seems to disperse down the arm, and there's flickering black lightning going across my entire body as I start to really focus. So I'm going into my battle trance, which I have both Deathless Trance and Impervious Trance, so I'm immune to any resolve attacks, and I can't be knocked unconscious even if my health goes below 0 HP, but I gotta track it. So I enter into the battle trance. I feel the bolstering energy from Killian, and I draw the electrical string back and launch off divine elemental arrow at this thing.
All right.
Which I'm currently at advantage 6 for.
Yeah.
Okay. It's something.
Yeah.
Okay. Math. I'm at 35 before a single exploding 8.
Okay.
So that's 41 to hit. Does that hit?
No. Yes, that hits. That hits. There's a no. That doesn't hit. No. Yeah, that hits. Versus guard, I'm assuming.
And I'll provoke it. Yes, this was targeting guard.
Yeah. All right.
I'm guessing that's exceptional success. I guess I don't know for sure that it is.
It would be an exceptional success, yes. So we're going to, let that be that.
That'd be provoked power level 7, disadvantage 4 on all attacks that do not include me.
Nice.
Okay.
So I've definitely probably caught its attention here. Now I'm going to recklessly attack. So I'm going to take 5 damage and do that again.
Nice.
Okay.
Starting with a 19 on the D20.
Ooh.
Okay, we'll see what those advantages do.
I love reckless attack.
$45 on that one.
Yeesh.
Okay. So, as you are doing, you fire those off, and you connect. You know you connect, and you have that. You can tell that the thing's attention is directed to you. When you hit it, it's a strange tearing that happens. And after Killian kind of gave y'all that idea, it's like, yeah, that's tearing. It's not paper. It's a dried kind of fleshy thing, and it tears away his shoulder, and it tears away in that second shot. And as it does, you can see the shredding of the body, and the body seems to turn to dust and move and drift away. What do you want to do?
Are we still in initiative?
Technically.
Follow the dust, right? Or
Well, I'm going to attack the dust.
nice.
Area attack. Like, how spread out is the dust? Is it like covering a large area? Is it compact?
The dust, as y'all watch it, seems to mix with shadow as it floats away off deeper into the woods, not seeming to go about the direction y'all were going. So it's in this kind of stream that's happening.
So I still had my movement and my minor actions on my turn.
Okay.
So I'd probably move, 30 feet following it. And I still had my blind sight up so I can see in the shadows pretty well. And I wanted to track like the largest grouping of this dust.
Okay.
Do you want me to roll for that or?
Most likely, since you're not following the same type of tracks, it's different type of tracking.
Uh, 21.
21? All right. You can.
Yeah.
It's not super hard to try and follow the dust. You get a sense that it's winding its way around, though, and it is moving fast. You guys, if you do want to keep up with the dust, you will have to use pretty much your movements to do it, because it is moving fast. So it would take an entire turn to follow along with it. And is that what everybody wants to do?
Well, as soon as it's my turn again, I'm going to shoot at the biggest clumping.
Okay. All right. So we're in a bit of a chase.
Killian was gonna. Okay.
So
Killian was just gonna throw out to Estal if he could perhaps catch sight of it with his true sight or something. See maybe something that we're unable to see.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. Trying to invoke true sight.
And
Yeah,
if
and
needed. Sorry, go ahead, Moustache.
As a side note, I don't know that matters since it's like essentially changed forms or whatever's happened to it, but I would have put persistent damage on it, which might not have stuck on its dust form.
it would not have stuck on its dust form. But yes, each form, this form seems to have... The skin that is worn seems to bear its own banes, kind of thing.
So, and I'll use my turn, if I can, to help guide Estal so that he can kind of focus on what he's trying to see. And Pippa and I will try and make sure we keep up with Lizbith if we can.
Okay.
So that's only an 18 for true sight. That doesn't work.
18 for true sight?
Yeah.
Okay. That's enough to let you see the trail. You can't see deep things within the shadows and the dust, but you can definitely keep up with the trail with an 18. So as you guys follow, 3 things will happen. The first is let me see. Would Lizbith be able to keep up her trances while tracking?
Well, and again, I was going to do an attack, a different type of attack on the dust. I was going to do an area attack versus toughness as I called down Divine Lightning upon it.
Okay, so we'll deal with that as it comes through then.
Okay.
So
basically, every 3 rounds, if I don't make an attack within 3 rounds, my battle trance drops.
Gotcha. So you guys are able to keep track. The first thing the beast does is a bit of a I guess you would say it is an attack, probably since the person that hurt it the most is the one shooting the arrow. Shadows seem to coalesce back and forth around Lizbith, and this form does not seem to be as physically potent as the form that was the demonic form. So we are looking at a attack versus your toughness. Let me see, where is that?
Okay.
And let me see. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it exploded on the 20. I kind of like these boss dice. So I'll set that there.
Starting hot.
Set that there. Set that there. 20. 26. So 36 versus toughness.
Oof.
That, yeah. Is this damage or is this a Bane attack?
This is a Bane attack.
Okay.
So the Bane, let me get it for you real quick. It would most likely be for you.
I was gonna say it's only 9 over, but it's over.
Okay. Only 9.
Right now my toughness is 27 with battle trance.
So, let me see. The creature most likely, as it's whirling around you, instead of attacking you directly, it goes in and starts to... You feel the oppression, not just on the outside of you, but it seeps in as you breathe, and the dust itself seems to get into your lungs, and the shadow seems to get into your lungs as you breathe. So, that is going to be a persistent damage. It is magically sourced, so it can be nullified another way. But to make you aware, it is persistent damage. So, now, I will let you roll your own persistent damage when it comes up. So, just to be safe.
Well, sure.
Alright.
What level is it? Am I rolling a 2d6 here? Is it that high, or is it just... No, that'd be like crazy high.
Yeah,
It's probably only a d10.
It's a D10, yeah. It's no 9s. I did not intend to come out and slaughter y'all. Not unless you want slaughtered.
You know, we take what comes.
So, it makes an attack against you. The next tracking, the next thing it does is go ahead and do the same thing with all those following it, but at different, unfortunately, for me, at different disadvantage levels. So the next one would probably go to the person who's damaged it, which would be Estal.
I mean, there is Killian who interrupted it in its special area.
Yeah, there is. There is. Special plans for special people.
I do tend to come unannounced. Oh.
So there is an explosion on the 6. So... 27 versus the toughness of Estal.
Yep, that's 7 over.
Okay. So on your turn, the persistent damage will be a d10, and you'll roll it for yourself. And then the other is for kill. Ooh. 6. Gotta reroll.
What's your toughness, Killian? 12 or something?
Yeah, 15.
Something. It's a disadvantage. Oh, no, all the d6s came up 5s. So, Killian's got some bad stuff happening to him. So, 15. So 21, Killian.
Yeah, that hits.
Yep. So that's a d10 on your turn, unless nullified.
All right.
Okay, all right. Now we come back around.
Can we resist it as normal?
You think that you can probably resist it as normal if using some kind of magical means, yeah. But as just physically trying to resist it, you're not sure. Don't think so.
I would take a move action anyways, so I'm going to keep following it.
Okay, so at the top of the order, that means Estal is next. So roll your d10 for damage on yourself, and then roll what you're going to do.
Right, that's a 1.
All right.
Nice. Estel's just like, excuse me.
Well, don't really see any other obvious option than trying to attack it again, even though it's just dust particles.
Okay.
I'm next to Killian, right?
Yeah.
that mean?
And I'm still bolstering.
Oh, right. But that also means I should be right next to you, which should trigger a lethal attack.
Okay.
Dust is everywhere, I suppose, right?
Wow, no explosions. Well. But still. That is 30.
Nice.
All right. So you are able to attack the darkness, I suppose you would say, because there does seem to be some form with it, though it moves like almost a gas or something like that. So let me see. What was that number again? 30?
30.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So that means I'll mark that down. And
then since I'm using lethal strike, it will also take up to 5 additional damage as lethal damage.
okie dokie. Good deal. Duly marked. All right. So now we are back up to where everybody. We're back up to. Stall just went. I assume you're using your move action to keep up.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Killian.
Okay. I'll be. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to use movement. Pip and I will both use movement to keep up. Pip is going to try and use. She's going to maintain bolster on Killian and try to use restoration on Blixen to try and get rid of the persistent damage.
Okay.
8. Okay, alright. That's 22. So that would hit power level 6. I'm not sure if that's enough, but cancels Bane's power level 6 or less.
You can feel it. The magics of you feel your magics and Pippa's magics push, and then be pushed back against. It does not seem to nullify.
Okay. Alright. Then that's Pippa. Killian will.
Did Killian roll his damage for himself?
Oh, no, I didn't. Thank you. D10. 5 damage on that. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Killian will attempt, let's see. I think I might attempt that on Killian as well, restoration. Let me just make sure if I need to switch it up. Show details. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so he's gonna minor action shapeshift going into his spells for switching to creation. So okay. The bolster drops for now.
No.
I'm sorry. Let's see if I'll get it back up on my next turn. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Alright, that's better. 16, 12, 22. Nice. 30, 33. 39. Restoration.
All right.
Roll.
And this
so
is
I can
on
hit
Killian?
a max of power levels. Yeah, it's on Killian. I can hit a max level power level 7, and if it's over that, it becomes if the persistent damage is higher than that, it's 20 plus for the CR, if I remember correctly.
Okay, you're looking to dispel power level 8 mechanically.
Okay. So 20 plus twice. So that is 20 plus 16, 36. So I did it. Just barely.
As a side note, what did you bolster with? Alteration?
Yeah.
You maintain your alteration when you shapeshift.
Oh, I do. Okay. Yay. Then I will continue to sustain. And I do have superior concentration too, so I can put one other thing up if needed, but... Okay, cool. So yeah, I am able to restore myself. I'll work on you guys on my next turn.
And I assume you're using your movement to keep up.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now we come to Lizbith.
I take 2 damage, persistent damage.
Okie dokie.
And yeah, I'm going to, I'm still holding the bow, but with my other hand, I kind of point out with one of the rings on my fingers. And so the dust is covering a large area, right?
A thin area, but it is a long one, yes.
Because I'm going to do an area attack, so I don't know if I should do just a 5-foot area or if I should do like a 10 by 10 area.
I would allow you to mechanically make it be a line also, if you wanted to do that 10 by 10, but have it be squares in a line instead.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you're trying to aim at a specific coalescing, you could do the 5-foot, but otherwise you probably would want to do the 10 by 10. So 4.
Okay, so yeah, I'll do 2 10-foot lines, like a 20-foot line altogether.
Okay.
To try and like hit as much of it as I can in one hit.
Gotcha.
Alright, so now I only got, and I'm doing area, so I only got advantage 2 total. So that's a 32.
32.
Over that whole area.
Okay.
Yikes.
In theory, that might target toughness more than guard since it's an area. But that's up to you.
The thing seems to be weaving around with its agility, so we'll go with guard.
Okay.
That does hit. So let me see. Your result was what now?
Am I able to... 32 altogether.
32? All right. No free Bane then this time.
Okay. Then, of course, I'm going to take 5 damage and go for another reckless attack.
Okay.
Yeesh.
Not as high on that one. 28 total.
28? Yes. That would also hit. And we are looking at that. All right. Duly marked. Now,
And all those were above like minimum damage
yes, all those were above minimum damage.
because my ring does that feedback thing if I don't do at least 4 damage.
You are safe. That one cut it pretty
Okay.
close. But you felt a little bit of feedback
Okay.
coming back at you at that last one. All right. So, now we are to the beast. The beast is not liking how it is feeling with this many people on it at one time. So, it is going
I don't
to...
understand. Why not?
Yeah. Instead of attacking 3 times this time, it is only going to... let me see. Killian shook it off. So it's going to retry with Killian. To put that bang back on. And then there's an advantage. A 2 on the D20.
All right.
Okie dokie. Well, at least we got a little better there. So we got 2, 5. So 7 as it stands, and then 2 explosion on the D6s. So,
Uh-oh.
yeah. Another explosion.
Ah.
I think you might be persistent damage again.
Another explosion.
Yeah, probably. No.
30. Not an explosion on that one. 2. So 32 as it stands right now. Now for the other explosion.
Oh, good.
Just another 5.
I think you got some good dice there.
So 36.
Okay.
So 36 against your toughness.
Yeah,
All right. So
that'll do.
because of that severe success, when you resist next time, you will take a disadvantage. You will take. How far did we exceed your toughness?
More than double.
More than double. We'll go with 1 disadvantage this
15.
time.
Toughness is 15.
Oh, toughness is 15.
Okay.
2 disadvantage then.
21 over.
Yeah. So 2 disadvantage this time.
He's a frail
The
little
amount
man.
over can drink alcohol legally.
Yeah.
The state.
As Killian hopes to after this.
Yeah. He's gonna need one after this.
Yep.
All right. So that is that. Now he's going to use his other 2 options to just move. So he does it. So the beast does a normal 30, and then 2 more 30s after that. Well, it's hasted actually. So it does a 60 and a 60. So it's 240 feet ahead of you guys right now.
Booking it.
So it's trying to get away. It has felt the sting and is trying to get away to wherever it's going. But you do think that you're getting fairly close to where it is because it keeps weaving around the trees.
Uh-oh.
Okay, did I come back now?
He's become the darkness.
No. Yeah, well, we hear you, so.
Okay, close enough. So, actually, with that amount of travel, you see it enter into it's not a full-on clearing, but you see it come to the base of a tree after moving that fast. That's ahead of y'all, and there is a break in the canopy that you can see there, and it seems to have come to this tree. And you guys will get approaching to that tree as you come into your next round, which starts with Estal. So,
I guess I will rush after it and use my mage action to also move.
okie dokie.
That will still have me 30 feet away, right?
right about that. If you're dashing, I believe that's how close you would be. And remember that you got persistent damage.
7 this time.
Okie dokie. So, Estal has moved up. How about Killian?
Persistent damage. 5 again. Okay. Oh. Aha. Doing math wrong. Okay, there we go. I think he's going to try to focus on doing a restoration on both his teammates.
Okie dokie.
So they can continue to focus on what they need to do. So Pippa will use her major... I'm only going to do one movement. Pippa will use her major action to aid because we both have creation now.
Hey Dan, want to know something cool?
Maybe.
If you don't restore it, I'm going to take 29 damage from persistent damage because it exploded twice.
Oh, good. Well, I was planning on spending legend points on this roll, so that is definitely
you
what we're
are
gonna
now.
do.
How many
Yep.
legend points do you want to
If
spend?
there was any doubt,
How many legend points do you want
I've
to spend?
got 2. So, yeah, I'll spend 2. I'm going to dump everything into this.
You see 2 whitish orbs look back at you and glare as it says, "That is not okay. It was me, dear wizard." You can use 1. It consumes 1 with its misfortune ability. It's the opposite of lucky.
Oh, that's cool. All right. That's nasty of you. Very well. All right, so I have disadvantage 2 for hitting both of them. Advantage from Pippa, advantage from Bolster, advantage, so 3, and so I'm at 1 there. Plus 1. Okay, all right, 18 on the 20. That's good. 32. Oh, it's 3. I rolled a 35 plus 1 with the legend point makes 36, which is exactly my target I had to hit.
Lucky.
Oh my gosh. So both Estal and Lizbith are free from the power level 8 persistent damage.
Okay.
Killian still has his. Wow, that just made it.
Yeah, that's a clutch roll. Because that would have... How many hit points would that have left you at? Not very many.
Well, I've got Deathless Trance. I still would have been up, but I would have been at -1 health at that point.
Not looking good after the battle.
Right.
Yeah, because if I don't heal up back to 0, I die.
Well, y'all don't know all the nastiness of this particular shadow dust either. So,
True.
let me see.
Tasty.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Killian. Quite a valuable set of rolls.
Yep.
Only moving 30 feet, I guess?
Correct.
Okay.
So we've fallen behind.
So,
So the question is if I just use my movement, is it within 75 feet of me for me to attack it? Or do I need to get closer?
it's over 240 away. Because it had its normal movement and then its full-on dashes.
But it was also weaving, so it wasn't going in a straight line.
Right. So we're looking at least 240 then, if we cut out the normal movement for weaving.
Okay.
And you're moving how much?
I mean, I got probably normal movement. I don't think I got anything that would do that more. So Because I thought you said he was a lot closer for Estal when he moved up.
He has to move next time to get up on him, yeah. So let me see.
Okay.
Because Estal has a ranged weapon with the spear. So yeah, he still can't attack right this second. You could always take some disadvantage to try and lengthen your shots.
Right. So I was just, you can't lengthen extraordinary. You can't shoot beyond your max range.
Oh, I got you.
I mean, unless for your world you can. So the most that I can move is 60, then, which would be 180 feet. And what if I use my reckless, but instead of attacking, moved more with it?
To get closer?
So 5 HP to get closer?
That seems like a fair tax to me. 5 HP for a bit closer.
That's cool.
Yeah. That means, let's see what. That would put me 1/8 then. So I'm within 160 of it, I guess, now.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be everything that I could do on that round.
Okie dokie.
Every vein is popping.
Well, you gotta... That's kind of what it does. It likes to set up its little...
Yeah,
So, now it's the beast. The beast is going to not attack. Instead, it is going to reform. You see it come to the base of the tree and spend mechanically its actions. And it's the beast goes basically into the tree. And as you guys are approaching, you see that there are two, and it's pretty clear in the sparse light that they're getting reflected, two golden bangles stuck on branches of the tree, as if they had grown into them. And you can see that the bark has kind of grown over some of the bangle. And the beast's essence seems to form into that and go into that, and it does not look as powerful as it was. It actually looks weaker than it was, but it has some form within the tree, and the tree itself begins to shift, jerk, and move, and the tree itself changes and molds its shape around the shape into the shape of the shadow that you saw in the moon, that gangly, characteristic description of the beast. With, as we were described, antler-like branches on its head, arms long and gangly, and at the moment on all fours, as a large creature. Though not looking, as I said, as powerful as it once did. Looking annoyed, angry at someone hurting it so much. And it has to it goes ahead and spends its full rounds doing that to make sure its form is complete. So we come back to y'all. Up first is Estal.
Right. Then Estal will, close the distance. So is it within 30 feet or? Will he need to run?
Let me see. I'm not sure about Estal's
I'm probably
abilities.
30 feet ahead of him.
Right. So you're 30 feet ahead of him.
And it's 160 away from me.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, it's closer. You're closer than that because you spent your reckless. So, it's still far enough away that you guys can do something ranged, but not actually. That you could do something ranged, but not actually hit it without continuing to move forward.
I think I'll just close the distance.
Okay. Distance has been closed. What about Killian?
Yeah, I've probably got to play catch up, so Pippa and I will try to catch up with the group, use our whole turn to move.
Okay. If you use your whole...
I'm curious for Killian, because I know for my character I wouldn't, but I don't know if Killian would try and talk to the creature or not.
Oh, he'd do it. I'm always in for a good conversation if I can. But dead bodies are fun to take apart too.
All right. Killian moves up. He also sees...
Oh, and I've got persistent damage. Oh dear. That's not good.
I told you the title of this episode.
Yep. He's still up. That was not good. Exploding, got 12 total. Killian's not looking great.
You hear... So, what you vomit up is black.
Oh, yep.
Yep. So, you hear in your mind, Killian, perhaps you will be one of my subjects now too. Let's see.
Is that what makes you stronger?
All right. So now that's Killian. All right.
Yep.
What's Lizbith doing?
All right, so I guess I'm about 150, or am I a little closer than 150 away from this thing now?
You'd be a little closer now because you spent that. You probably...
All right, so I'll do... Because I'll have to get within 75 of this thing. So I'll probably move on my move, do my major as a move, and then I should be close enough, because that's 60. So I'm probably within 60 of it at that point, somewhere.
Yeah. Well, 150 minus that would be 90, then minus that again. Yeah. You're close enough.
Okay. So then I'll recklessly attack it. So I'll take 5 damage, of course. Cool. And so I have a theory.
Oh.
That since like the dust went into it, I'm wondering if there's like 2 things. So I want to do an area attack again so that I could possibly hit both the creature's outer form and potentially the creature's inner form.
Okay. I would allow that.
That's what... I don't know if that's the actual case of this creature, right? But that's what's going in the mind of Lizbith. So they're going with that assumption, so they're doing more of an area attack.
Okay.
So I'll probably, since you said it's a large creature, I'll make it be a 2x2 square, basically cube.
Gotcha.
Shooting out the energy. I got the 20.
Ah!
So starting with a 30.
All right.
Uh, 61.
61.
2 explosions on the D8.
So For you guys that have been keeping track this whole time, you can let us know how many over this course explosions he has gotten. So yeah, that's plenty. That's plenty. In fact, as we said, this form didn't seem to be as powerful. And as that rain of arrows comes down, everybody's basically able to catch up as the smoke kind of settles, and this tree that had no leaves, was all gnarled and blackened, as it starts to fade away into dust. It's a slower process, and it just starts drifting up into the wind. I will have to wait even longer until you are dead. Then, perhaps then. Actually, Killian, you need to roll again. The persistent damage seems to keep holding. Unless you want to go ahead and use your turn.
Well, I think I like rolling it. I think that's great. And then, I mean, Pippa would be trying to heal him, noticing that he's puking blackness, of course. But yeah, that persistent damage doesn't explode, but it takes him down to 0.
Okay. So you guys are watching the creature start to dissipate, and then Killian just kind of goes...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd probably go over and stuff a potion in his mouth or something. But I mean, Pippa's probably doing something already, anyways.
She's certainly going to try to.
Mm-hmm.
Should I roll Pippa's healing, or is it narrative?
Well, that's one. We'll say that's one round. So,
okay,
everybody's up there. You've come back to help out if Pippa doesn't this round. The beast continues to say, I am not done with this world, with the lies that were told to me. I will not yield to this world's false stars. Next round.
Are the bangles still visible?
The bangles have not faded away yet.
Yeah. No, okay.
Pippa's going to attempt to heal. I don't know if we're staying strictly in order, but Pippa will attempt
I was
to
going to
heal.
make a question. Are we still in initiative order? Because it would have been...
Estal.
Right, it would have been Estal's turn, then Killian's where he would have dropped, and then mine, right?
Right.
Yep.
So, did you want to go up and give him some healing?
I'll roll Pippa's.
Yeah, because I probably wouldn't... Well, he would have fallen... He would have fallen before my turn, because his initiative is first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Estelle, were you wanting to go after the Bengals?
Yeah.
Okay.
To get a hold of one of them before they fade or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
As you're watching the bangles, they're made for a large creature, it would seem. They seem very simple. A golden orb on each end, and it just twists around once. But in it, especially to your eyes, you see markings of the Star Children's language all in there, mixed a little bit with other things you're not familiar with, other symbols perhaps and things. And they seem to be fading, but not nearly as fast as everything else. and the bark that's around them is starting to turn to dust. So if they were going to be picked up or messed with or anything, it seems like you could once the bark had, once all the wood had degraded away and turned to dust.
Right.
All right.
Then I'll probably go to be ready to grab them. Oh.
Okay. What did you get? What did Pippa
I'll
get,
look
Dan?
to Pippa.
Pippa rolled 23 total for heal, so 2d8 heal, 5 points.
Okay.
I just didn't know if that brings him back or if there's something else going on here.
Well, that seems to bring him back to consciousness. But he can still feel that weight in his lungs.
So still has persistent damage.
There's Pip. What are you seeing? What's going on? Yeah.
I guess I would see that he's still struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd go over because I've got a consumable restoration. So it would auto succeed when you drink at power level 8.
Okay.
Which should take away that persistent damage. I usually use that to, fix my fatigue, but I see you struggling there. So I'm going to feed that to you, and then I would start to head over to help with the bangles.
Cheers.
Okie dokie. So let's see then. This round the beast says, "No, I wanted that one. Perhaps another time."
Well, no.
Actually, can I so we're just hearing the voice, or is it coming from dust that's dispersing into the wind?
It actually seems to be coming into your minds.
Okay.
So,
because the dust is just completely dispersed.
The dust is the denseness of the tree is going away. You see it crumbling, and as the dust and all the bark is going away, it seems to waste away from the middle. So the pseudo head that had been formed by the transformation is still there. The base of the legs are still there, and then the arms are still there with the bangles on them. In fact, the arms seem to be lasting longer than anything else. And the beast's voice just keeps coming to the head. So, Estal, the bangles are out of the wood enough that if you felt that if you reached down to mess with them, they would just come away from all the wood. So, you can do that if you choose to.
Yeah, I'll grab one of them and see if I can, read what is written inside them.
You grab them with what?
I'll say, hey.
Oh. My hand?
Okay.
Might not be a good idea, but I was going to ask, do you get any tingly feelings about what would happen if we tried to destroy one of these?
So, before he's able to answer any of Lizbith's questions, he reaches down and touches the bangle, and I need a will roll from Estal.
Always wear gloves.
14?
Yeah.
You see a smile come across the face of the beast just ever so faintly. And everything else, all the rest of the beast fades away. But you really feel like you should probably take these bangles. They don't need destroyed or anything. They need to be kept. They need to be kept because you can tell there's something powerful about them. You can tell.
Well, I got a question. Would Estal be able to do a defend interrupt versus this will thing?
Let me see. Estal was back with Killian, and Killian was, quite a little ways back that way. We'll see. How about you?
No, I meant Estal for themselves.
Oh, Estal for themselves. Oh, I see. I'm confusing people in my head.
As they feel this like slight manipulation or something.
Possibly, yeah.
Because I know they've got some stuff for that, so I don't know if that's something that's possible in this situation.
Also, y'all have legend points.
It's true too.
Not me.
No, not you.
I if I'm allowed to give you my legend points, I still got 2 of them.
So, yeah, I have Sentinel and defensive reflexes, so can I try to throw it to the ground or something as I start feeling the influence?
Okay. You can re-roll that will. Let me see. If you spend both of your legend points, I'll let you re-roll with 1 advantage.
That seems worth it.
Okay.
Time. Killian will try to talk back to the beast too while this is happening.
24?
Okay, that is enough to resist the initial temptation. So you think destroying them, you pick them up, and you immediately can tell you don't need to handle these with your hands. No, you get the sense, let's say through precognition, you get the sense that no living creature, nothing that has life in it, needs to, or any measurable amount of life in it, movement, ability to do, needs to touch this thing with its hands, with any part of it, because that temptation will come. So you are able to either use a stick or, other means to not come in direct contact with the thing. But you can collect them. So you guys successfully collect the bangles. When you guys pick them up, there's when they are picked up by something physical, their substantial nature seems to manifest stronger. They become more substantial. So it's not like they seem to fade away anymore. Once they've been acted on by an outside force.
Gotcha.
So
Killian's gonna shout out, whether they respond or not. What lies were you told?
As there's a fading breath, he says, and it's only faint in everybody else's mind because the beast's power is waning, but as Killian hears it clear. Look at the stars and you can see the lies yourself. In fact, you saw the lies, didn't you? And that's about what he got. And it seems to me, unless y'all have something else you want to touch on with these characters, you guys have completed the hunt.
Nice.
I turn around and kill Killian to fulfill the title of this episode.
Oh well, Killian's dead. Oh no.
Yep. Liz was like, I'm sorry, it was in the script. It would just...
Killian
had to happen, sorry.
Killian just goes, curse you, sudden but inevitable betrayal. And then Pippa gets to have her character arc of, becoming the pixie version of Guts or something like that.
Yeah. It gets a full character sheet.
All right. Well, I hope
That's
you guys
awesome.
enjoyed.
Yes, thank you, sir.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you,
It was
viewers.
good.
Good deal. If you liked these, you can always support us you can support both the Planar Crossroads and Dan from Avenue Studios /Avenue Studios at Patreon or Locals. There's also a subscribe star for the Planar Crossroads, but either Patreon or Locals work. Locals is just fine with me. Or you can contact me directly if you want to actually support without having to go through the other rigmarole. That's an option too. I think that's everything. And I look forward to maybe doing another one-shot where we get to explore more of Atar, do some more world building, and everybody gets to have a fun time. But that will have to be in the future. So, any final remarks before we sign out, guys?
Thanks for watching. Let us know what
It
you
was a lot of
thought.
fun.
All right. Okay, then.
Leave comments below if you also thought Killian should have died at the end of this episode.
It's in his name. Killing him. Yeah, it's in his name.
Killian.
All right. As always, have a great day. God bless and enjoy. Bye.
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 This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.
I finally rolled good on the D20. I gave it one more chance. All right.
I got a 22 on initiative. My D4's exploded nicely.
Nice.
All right. 22.
My D10 exploded.
Oh, yeah, boy.
So I ended up at 33.
Yeah.
All right. What was yours, Killian?
24.
All right. Okay, I'm going to run to the restroom, and then we'll see how this all starts
Same.
to lay out.
Awesome.
Gotta find out how Killian dies.
Yep.
All right, first roll for the beast on his initiative, or its initiative. Not too bad. We'll see how these boss dice hold out. Fancy smancy dice don't necessarily roll any better than the others.
Nope.
It's the psychological effect that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is my experience. They roll worse.
Well, for y'all's sake, maybe that's a good thing. But
Yeah. What I do is let my kids pick dice, and I use those for the monsters because I assume they have some kind of childlike chaos.
oh, they infuse it with their
Which they
childlike
seem
wonder.
to. Yeah, which means nothing. Just ones and 20s. No in betweens.
So that's what happens. Oh,
Yep.
all right. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Fair enough.
I definitely got chills when you said he was breathing down my neck. Sorry.
Yep. Well, that's the good stuff. Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
All right, y'all. Combat extended a little over the hour limit, but that is normal.
Did you appreciate my character there? Killing your boss so quickly.
Yeah. Well, I knew that I am not I'm not experienced enough to be able to build a thing myself at this level of Open Legend to be able to say, oh yeah, I'm going to challenge them in this long drawn out boss fight without doing some shenanigans like Misty Form and stuff.
Well, like, how often do you expect to see a 45, 41, and a 61 for sure?
Oh yeah, the 61. I was like, I was expecting, maybe there was some explosions and, I could understand maybe a 40, but a 61. Whew, that's some stuff right there. But
yeah, I was telling them when you disconnected that this build is one that is particularly vexing for GMs if you have to deal with it all the time because of Deathless Trance and Impervious Trance. So I'm immune to any resolve attacks. And I can't go unconscious. So
right.
The only way to stop a Deathless Trance thing is basically immobile and get out of range.
Yeah. Or have a creature that can outpace it. Which this one really could. It could have outpaced everybody if it had wanted to run away and everything, but that's not its persona, It could have It could have spent one of its bonus haste things to move in, do all attack, and then move away again, and you'd constantly be chasing it back and forth. Right. That's not the type of creature it is, though. It likes to get in there and do stuff because it feels itself immortal. It doesn't feel bound by death, so it ain't worried about dying. It'll just come back later, type of thing.
Right.
Yeah. It was fun. I love that it fit in with Killian's backstory stuff too, because now he's gonna travel Atar trying to find this other plane.
Oh, it's interesting how he perceives it too, because Killian saw stars in that void that Atar was floating in. So,
Awesome.
All right. So that is that. We got y'all taken care of. I used monsters that someone else had made. The Nalfeshi. It was something someone else had made. It wasn't going to withstand the build that was brought to bear, though. So, it went out pretty fast. But actually, the vampire mist thing that I used, it worked better. Because I think if I was being really mean and not playing into the storyline, that once the poison was set in, then it could have just avoided. It could have avoided the nasty Jinn creature thing that was shooting lightning at it, and for about 3 rounds until it saw it wane.
Yeah, no, that was pretty good.
Oh yeah, when I had that bolster from Killian, so I had 6 advantage.
Yeah, I do love. The bolster's always nice.
So you might like this ring that I made for the character as a GM there. It gives advantage 3 to energy attribute attacks, but if the attack roll does not exceed the defense by 3, then I take D6 advantage 1 damage. So I roll 2 D6s and take the highest damage. So I get feedback basically if I miss or I don't do enough damage.
Nice. Don't miss.
Don't miss.
And then adding reckless attack on top of that, you can go through your hit points quickly.
I was
right.
Yeah, I was down to 18 from 40.
Wow. Yeah.
And what's scary too?
Because I've got 7 will and 7 fortitude, so
what's
I've got a lot of HP from that.
What's scary too is that poison. The reason I had Killian keep going with it was because it doesn't go away. It, like if you pass out, it keeps doing lethal damage until it turns you into one of his subjects.
Nice.
So that's
So
why
he basically poisoned the whole town and then brought them to that other place.
So
Yeah, that's sweet.
Killian escaped his
Awesome.
his conversion to undeadhood in the Atar setting. This time.
For now. Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys.
Cool.
I got a sister that has a birthday today. You got to bring her a card and stuff. Y'all got anything you want to talk about before I sign out?
Think so.
Nothing particular. It's a fun setting, fun one shot.
Yeah. That's great.
I hope
It's
you
nice
enjoy
to
it,
play with
Jeppe.
you, Jeppe.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, Jeppe.
I did. I mean, I really look forward to hearing more about the setting as, well, time goes on.
Yep.
Yes.
You will. They've got the kids are going to go over to Atar. I mean, they're going to go over to the whole set of places over there. They're going to travel across it during their thing. So they're level 2 right now, going to fight Grum. Level 3, 4 will be fighting Rexus, and level 5, 6 will be dealing with another plot. So about that power scaling is how it's going to end up with the kids. So should be fun.
It'll be fun to see what the kids do at 5 power level 7 stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's
That'll be
funny when you frame the
and it
math
is-
as the game. They don't complain about doing the math. They just do the math because it's part of the game.
Yes.
So
Right.
they don't complain about doing algebra when it's an algebra game.
We adults aren't like that at all.
No.
All right. Well, we'll let you get to your sister here.
Yes.
Got some stuff to do as well. So
Yeah.
Need to get some dinner.
There you go.
Good. I'll see if my kids and wife have not killed each other yet.
Probably not. They may have taken their aggression out raiding some of the neighbors.
Yeah. They went to the local farm market while we were gone, so we'll see what.
Oh, they literally
how
raided
much
the
money we
neighbors.
spent.
Okay.
Yeah, quite literally.
Well, get your Vikings back under control then.
I'll try. Awesome. And I'll shoot for Moustache and Adam. I'll throw something up, start connecting on that October game in the Avenue Studios Discord.
sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Adios.
Many blessings.
Bye.